There's more pictures of that, and he actually has like multiple grandchildren.
Sure, yeah.
So in 2022, a microbial source tracking study confirmed chronic E. coli contamination with sources including human sewage, dog, deer, and bird feces in that water that he put his grandchildren in. All 8 Rock Creek monitoring sites failed water quality tests in 2019 with consistent failures compared to the Potomac and the Anacostia rivers. They're far more polluted than those 2 rivers. And in the DC area, since 1971, I think wading, swimming, anything in that creek is prohibited.
All right. Okay, when you mix that, ladies and gentlemen, with if could you put me over here? If you mix that, ladies and gentlemen, with what we just saw from RFK Jr. admitting wholeheartedly in front of a congressional panel, I think that you can now start to, and you made the comment, maybe he's on his way down. Like maybe he's starting to back out and realize I need to get out. When you mix all this together, I think we're starting to learn that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was a lot happier when his wife was just on TV on Curb Your Enthusiasm, making tons of money. And he was able to just go do what he wanted to do and talk to the people he wanted to talk to. Now he's constantly getting chastised. He's getting constantly made fun of. You put yourself in the public eye. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to happen to you. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. should not be in the position of power that he is in this White House and Trump administration, Jason. Well, and it's obvious if he's admitting it to all of you out there live on camera, then he doesn't need to be running measles, Jason. Measles. They have over 1,000 cases of measles that are active right now. That hasn't been around in forever. Not when Joe Biden was president, not when Donald Trump was president the first time, not when Barack Obama was president.
No.
Hey, not even when Ronald Reagan was president. You love Ronald Reagan. You love him.
So he's our Health and Human Service Secretary. Exposure to Rock Creek's water can cause illnesses such as vomiting, diarrhea, skin infections, severe complications, particularly for children who he had in there, the elderly, he's 70, or those with weakened immune systems. Pets are also at risk. So our Health and Human Service Secretary just took a dip in a creek that the EPA says don't get in.
But now, Jason, let's have a real conversation about this between me and you.
Yeah, let's do it.
How much do you think he really dips into that creek? How much is it a problem compared to people you know in your own family and life who swim in Missouri stuff where they don't check any of it out and they jump into it and it's 16,000. I'm not saying that he's smart for this. He's obviously an idiot for it.
He's
and obviously with the video we've proven that he's a moron there, so he shouldn't be in his position. But my question is how much of this is indicative of because he's a moron, or how much of this is just like everybody else? He just doesn't understand.
Well,
he doesn't have a clue.
He grew up in the area.
Okay.
I mean, in 1971, they said due to these hazards, swimming and wading have been banned in D.C. waterways, including Rock Creek, since 1971. He knows that.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? He grew up there. He lived there. I don't know how long he lived there until after his father passed away, but I definitely was probably there in 1971.
Yeah, he probably was.
Yeah, he was 17 years old.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Right off the top of the show, you get to find out that your Secretary of Health and Human Services isn't wanting to either be in the position or shouldn't be getting advice from him about said position because he's not a medical doctor. You shouldn't be getting medical advice from him about measles, a medical issue, vaccinations, another medical issue, and evidently swimming in creeks in the middle of wherever he lives. Where's he at? Washington, D.C.? Or
that's where Rock Creek is.
Rock Creek's in Washington, D.C. That's what I'm saying. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now that's what you need to know for today about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He's going to be calling into work probably next week because he's going to be sick with E. coli.
He should be.
Some other bacterial infection.
All right, well, in a bold move that would promote civil unrest on purpose, okay, because Trump likes nothing more than people fighting and arguing about things, Jason. He has decided that maybe George Floyd's culprit, Derek Chauvin, right, the gentleman that was accused of murdering him.
Yes.
It was called a homicide. We'll talk about more of that in a second, but needs to be released from prison and pardoned, Jason. That's right. Derek Chauvin, as you can see right up there. Yep. You get my I got to get my finger stuffed out.
Most people that choke out people with their knees usually get pardons.
There it is. Which is weird because a bunch of people that complained about how the country, remember, Kyle Rittenhouse famously went to a George Floyd protest situation, and that's where he ended up murdering 3 people.
Shot up some dudes.
In self-defense, but in 17 different places at the same time. So, take it for what it's worth. My point being, these guys, all they like to do is poke the bear. Poke the bear is their favorite thing to do. And if Derek Chauvin and George Floyd and that whole situation is what led to cities getting burned to the ground and police stations being set on fire and America's not right, this isn't the right type of country. We're not in the right type of place right now. All of that BS. That doesn't mean anything when the guy that you have put in charge of running the country decides, hey, this thing that is sitting there, Jason, that doesn't need to be bothered at all. Nobody's burning anything. No one's really protesting much other than me and Elon Musk for sucking his people. Like, all of this has been put to bed. I'm going to go poke that bear. I want to wake it back up. Get that black and white division going on because, guys, you don't get it. Donald Trump is doing everything he can to get everybody in America doing this. Black, white, Jewish, religions, colors, creeds, races. He's doing it because he wants bloodshed to eventually happen. That gives him the ability to do the one thing that I've been saying since 2020. I said this before the 2020 election, Jason. I got laughed at by my friend Kevin. And then a few years later, when he kind of floated the idea in one of his press conferences in like 2021 or something, like he floated this idea of martial law and how it would be interesting and how that it's like, well, you want to get to martial law. That's what he wants to get to. And by the way, poking these bears, that's how he creates the unrest to turn around and create the martial law to send the ICE agents, which are basically his brown shirts at this point. I mean, I think it's hard to not describe them as, and if you don't know what the brown shirts are, go and look up 1930s Germany during World War II. The brown shirts were the people that were tasked with finding Anne Frank in the closet, in the attic.
She was living in the attic.
Yeah, go find her and bring her, drag her out of her house. Not everybody was Christopher Waltz at the beginning of Inglourious Bastards, okay? A lot of the people were just dudes wearing brown shirts sent in to drag people out of their houses. And that's what ICE is slowly becoming. And he loves the ICE, in case of emergency. ICE, because that's what it says on my phone. That's what this Gen Zer told me, who's running all my business behind the scenes. ICE is where it's at.
What this is similar to, remember we talked earlier about Nancy Mace setting up her own attacks?
Yeah.
This is what Trump does. He sets his own narrative to complain about. Like, everything's fine, but let's float the idea of giving George Floyd a pardon.
Yeah.
Let's get that percolating underneath.
Let's get that percolating and out there. Let's what can we do over here?
Right.
Oh, Robert just said that he shouldn't even be in charge or one of the, let that video float. Let everybody think that he should be in charge. Like, whatever they can do to make you guys angry is what they're going to do.
You know, every doctor and the medical examiner in that trial said that George Floyd died because his airway was restricted.
He had a restricted airway, and it was considered a homicide, specifically.
And you go on Twitter, and every idiot says it's a drug overdose.
Right, it's
because
all those black.
All of those medical degrees online are astute.
But once again, we're back to the most common, lowest denominator that we can use as a reasoning. So it's drugs, black man.
There we go.
That's
criminal.
It. But guys, that's it. That is the entire jump. It's not this to this to this to black man. It is literally drugs, black man.
Yeah.
End of discussion. He obviously must be a Barack Obama supporter because Barack was black. And because Barack was black, then if you're black, you had to be a supporter of his. And it's like, that's not how any of this works. They really don't get it, Jason. You and me and adults make decisions based off of what we feel would be best for the country and ourselves living in the country. Not because a black guy did drugs one day and a police officer found out. Yeah. That's not how it works.
Donald Trump can do what he wants, but there's no way that Tim Walz is going to pardon him. So
no, he's not.
Derek Chauvin's staying in prison.
Oh, yeah.
He's not
the
getting out
state side
anytime
of this,
soon.
The state side of this is going to
Yeah.
stay locked down. They're not going to let him out. But Donald Trump, once again, guys, why even float the idea of that pardon, putting that out there as an option on the board,
You know what?
and even
Do
playing
it.
with it in American society and letting it trend if you didn't have a plan on possibly pulling that trigger? Because you're not bringing any of the other things up.
You know, I say do it. Do it. Why not add to his trash resume of a trash human being and the worst president ever in our country? Just do it. Do that. Add to your pile of racism. Add to your pile of chaos and nonsense. He's just a piece of crap. He's just a terrible human being in charge of a country.
And here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, because I think that this is important, okay? I want everyone out there to understand that as we move forward with this Donald Trump presidency, there is going to be difficult paths to deal with, okay? There's going to be difficult conversations that we have to have and talk to you all about out there. Mm-hmm. George Floyd and Derek Chauvin might be one of those topics, okay? And by the way, we're not perfect, Jason.
No.
We might make mistakes.
Maybe.
There might be things that get floated out there that we talk about on this show that don't end up becoming anything at all. But that was also the intent of those individuals floating those things out there. Unfortunately for this Derek Chauvin, George Floyd thing, it was floated by certain individuals at a very high level, and now it's kind of trending because it did exactly what it was designed to do. Get the people talking. Now they know if we bring up Rittenhouse, we bring up this, whatever we bring, we can get it to the top. That gets the people back and forth. Don't let them do it to you. America, don't let them do it to you. Not necessary. We're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrat Show. When we come back, more with myself and Jason. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Occupy Democrats show. Jason.
Yep.
I beat my head against my laptop a few thousand times a day, reading the things that we have to read.
Stays together really well.
And
we do that.
then I see videos, right?
Yeah.
And you and me talk throughout the day all the time about different topics and different things and stories that in our lives too. Like I want everybody out there to know that like me and Jason are normal human beings. We just have discussions with each other.
We are normal.
But sometimes a video pops up that just kind of catches me off guard. Now, Trump has been on this Middle East cozying up to dictators in their dark money tour.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's been doing. But that hasn't stopped him from making sure he shows the military of other countries, right? Mm-hmm. Respected by saluting them.
He loves doing that.
He loves doing this. Now, you might be like, Mark, that's not fair. He's in their country, right? You know, you would not show respect, Mark. Like this is not something you would do.
Yeah.
He could be shaking hands with those men.
That's all he needs to do.
He could be shaking hands with those men and telling them, thank you very much. That's all he needs to be doing.
He's the commander-in-chief of our military.
He's the commander-in-chief of our military. There needs but Metro, play this video. Play this video. I want everybody to see these things.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
Oh, my heart to you.
Now it's
you
their
want to give
time
your heart
to shine. It's their time to shine.
There's a
We're
way to do
taking
that.
them all off, and they're going to have, I think they're going to have, based on the people and the spirit and everything else that I'm hearing about. So I say good luck, Syria. Show us something very special like they've done, frankly, in Saudi Arabia.
Like
This
they've
is so
done in
stupid.
Saudi Arabia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Like, that's our president.
9/11 happened.
Jesus Christ.
They went to Afghanistan to find Osama bin Laden. They weren't able to find him. So the war continued on for years. They even made remakes of movies like Red Dawn, and they took the Russians out and specifically put in other terrorists like North Koreans and
they
other
were.
people like that, specifically because we've been dealing with terroristic issues from other parts of the world. And by the way, Jason, if I was so bold as to ask you, where in the world does the majority of terrorism come from?
It
If you were
appears
to,
they
like,
come from the Middle East.
the Middle East,
Yes.
which is that where Saudi Arabia
They
is?
are there.
Is that where Qatar is?
Yes.
Or Qatar, if you like to say
Qatar,
Qatar.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. CNN and your speech pathologist said, say Qatar, because some lady who lives there said Qatar, but I've also listened to news people from Qatar literally
Qatar.
say Qatar. So you
where-
can choose.
that's where
right?
planes
Potato,
are.
potato. Nope. It's never potato. It's never. Nobody ever goes, can I get a baked potato? It never happens.
I haven't yet to
No
say
one does
that.
it.
I'm
No
gonna
one does.
start doing
Nobody
that.
sing Hiles to say hello and give you their heart at Walmart either.
Only CEOs of
Metro
car
never
companies.
even did it till the first time he met us.
Nope.
He didn't just walk up to us and go, "Oh,
Yeah, or saluted me.
Nope.
Just shook my hand.
we
I
didn't
think
do it
was a
right
fist
here
bump.
on accident." Like it didn't even happen.
I have never accidentally given a Sig Heil or a Roman salute.
That's right.
I just don't do that.
That's right. We don't do things we shouldn't do because
Yeah.
we're normal human beings.
It's
Donald Trump is not what I would consider a normal human being, as you saw there.
he's not a normal human being whatsoever.
I get that he's on a tour, and I get that he has to be nice in these other countries, and I get that he's going to say positive things about the other countries. But when I see you shaking hands with MBS, a man that murdered Jamal Khashoggi,
Yeah, our CIA said he did.
literally
He orchestrated
made
it.
the call
Yes.
to have it done.
Yes.
Okay? That's how they treat your American citizens and journalists. Obviously, MBS, not a good person.
Nope.
So if he's not a good person, then I would not be showering him with love. I would also be looking into why he's not a good person and the place around. Oh, Iran seems to have a lot of problems with other countries around them. They get into a lot of beefs with each other, right? Because of Hamas and the Pakistanis and Israel and all of this stuff. Guys, once again, we're back to poking the bear. I'm going to find a way to let the American citizens know you voted for me. Your gas prices are $4 a gallon. Sorry, might be $2.99 a gallon. It might be $3 a gallon currently. But it's definitely not $1.98 because nobody's taking a picture at a gas station
Nope, not yet.
of $1.98 prices at all. Your eggs are not cheaper. But he can definitely go to those countries, take all their sanctions off of them, let them murder more Americans. By the way, it was him saluting the troops.
He saluted
Saluting
one
the
of their
troops from
generals.
other
Yeah.
countries.
He did that in North Korea too. Oh, there he is. There you go.
there he is right
There
there.
you go. Like that's literally.
Why? Yeah, he shakes their hand, but why are you saluting them? They are not American military
You are
members at
not
all.
supposed. In fact, civilian members of the military are not supposed to salute. Like if you're a civilian worker within the military, you're not supposed to do.
Do you
that.
understand in their own countries there are men that don't salute them and only shake
Right.
their hands?
If they wanna
like this is crazy. Now, you as a Trump supporter is like, I am trying to show support for my president of the
Yeah,
United
of course.
States. If I'm not showing support, I'm not being a good patriot. But is being a good patriot being told that the guy in charge of your medical stuff doesn't understand and shouldn't be getting medical advice from him? That's the same guy right there shaking their
Well,
hand.
he's
giving them salutes.
He's saluting members of a military whose country helped pay for the 9/11 hijackers, and Barack Obama.
Does 9/11 matter anymore, Jay? Does it matter to you and me and everybody? Like,
It
does
should.
9/11 matter to these people anymore? I don't think it
But
does.
remember when Barack Obama bowed to I think it was the Japanese prime minister or something,
Oh,
and
yeah, it was
everyone
a
lost
big
their
deal.
minds. That's a sign of respect.
Oh.
Saluting, you don't have to do that. Shaking a hand,
Jason.
that's good enough.
Could you imagine, seriously,
Oh no.
Pete Buttigieg coming out and saying, you know, I've driven a car a few times, but I really don't understand anything about
I don't know why
cars
you
and
guys are asking me.
transportation. So you should be listening to me for advice on anything.
I can barely use Google Maps.
Oh
let alone-
my God, how crazy and insane.
They would have lost their minds.
They would have been on Twitter and social media and everywhere else destroying Pete Buttigieg over this.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
They don't have the ability to come after their own, though.
We host this show, I get it. It says Democrats. But the things we are talking about have nothing to do with politics. These are politicians, but they're not doing anything political. They're not discussing any laws or things that need to be passed.
No, he's just on a trip.
You're just making bad decisions as a morally characterable human being.
Yeah,
like you have moral character that you need to follow through with, and you show none of it to us.
Well, his ties to the Middle East are murky at best throughout his life. It's mainly through the Trump organization and his kids right now. But they've raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest, ethical violations over there, violations of the emoluments clause that we've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
And these ties, they've expanded significantly in the last few years. They involve real estate, golf courses, cryptocurrency ventures we talked about, other flying palaces, investments in countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman.
He even
There's
said
a golf
Carter.
course.
I'll go with Carter.
Yeah,
Qatar.
Qatar.
You call it.
It's all the
Dude,
same.
We're down for all of it. Listen.
But right now, the Trump organization is run by his sons, Eric and Don Jr. He is one of the only president. In fact, I think the only president who has not divested from his companies. Like, we made Jimmy Carter give up a peanut farm. We made him get rid of it.
Peanut farm. We made Hillary Clinton.
Peanuts.
Hillary Clinton had to give up the gift she got. It was like a $200 wallet or something she got, or whatever it was. She had to give that up when she was Secretary of State because it was a big deal.
So now his sons, they're running it. They've partnered with Dar Global. It's an international arm of a Saudi-based Dar Al Arkan on multiple projects. They include a $530 million Trump Tower in Jeddah. I guess that's how you pronounce that. 2 residential projects in Riyadh and a luxury hotel golf resort in Oman. Here's the thing about that. That also involves state-owned land. So the government is involved in that. Saudi-backed Live Golf League. They've hosted tournaments at Trump properties, including his National Doral in Miami.
Oh, yeah. Let's not forget about LIV and the golf.
Yeah, significant revenue for his family with that. That relationship got even deeper after the PGA canceled a bunch of events at Trump courses after the January 6th riots. So now this Live Golf, they've ponied up to the table. They're like, oh, we'll take care of that. PGA doesn't want to do business with you because you're a corrupt piece of crap. We'll do that because we're evil as hell. And of course, we're all aware of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. He secured that $2 billion investment from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. That's literally the Crown Prince's bank account. And for his private equity firm. He got $2 billion for his private equity firm, Affinity Partners. That was in 2022, literally like 6 months after he left the White House is when he began on the workings of that deal. So he leaves the White House 6 months later. He's working on a $2 billion investment from the Crown Prince's pocketbook, basically. And let's not forget, like we talked about, his defense of the prince after the 2018 killing of a journalist. It wasn't just like it was some guy. This was a journalist writing unflattering pieces about the crown prince. They had him killed. And Trump's like, whatever.
Stop talking to terrorists. Stop talking to terrorists. I got to do it over here so that you guys, I want them to understand that this is a real microphone. I am trying to scream over everyone to Donald Trump directly. Stop talking to terrorists. Stop hugging terrorists. Stop being friends with terrorists. Stop the terrorism. That's it. We're done. We're not going on any more apology tours over to Kim Jong-un. We're not doing dictator runs. You have America. Focus on America.
Right, now tell me if this sounds familiar, though. So just last month, the Trump organization announced a $5.5 billion golf course and luxury villa project in Qatar. Yeah, partnered with Qatari DR, a real estate firm.
I wonder what he got in exchange for that, Jason.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a plane. A real estate firm owned by Qatar's, guess this, sovereign wealth fund, similar to the Crown Prince's wealth fund. Right. And Dar Global. This deal appears to violate the Trump organization's own ethics pledge to avoid new foreign government business dealings during his second term. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that we need to lay it out any better. We talked about the plane the other day. We've now talked about his apology tour with the plane from the other day.
Yeah.
And then we just explained to you the plane, again, the quid pro quo from all of the terroristic nations in the Middle East that he is now dealing with.
Well, you know when he knows that something is not right, his reaction, like we showed the clip of a previous show of his reaction to the ABC reporter who asked him, do you care how this looks, that this plane may be viewed as a gift to you? And he just screams at her, calls her fake news, because that's the idiot move, and it doesn't even answer the question of, that kind of looks bad. It looks really bad. Like, we are the United States of America. We can buy our own planes.
And bad being the theme and things looking bad being the theme is exactly why our next story kind of mixes the two things we've been talking about the most, ladies and gentlemen. Our friend Donald Trump, as well as RFK Jr. Could you play that video for me, Metro, on prescription drugs?
Who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry, too. I think they gave you $100 million. But he can't be bought, unlike...
$100 million was given to Donald Trump, but of course, RFK Jr., who you should take advice from,
we should fact check that.
Says specifically, Jason, this man can't be bought.
Yeah, unless it's a flying vessel.
This man,
This guy over here.
This guy over here, he can't be bought.
Can't be bought.
How is it that he can't be bought? But all the stories that we've had over the last 2 days and a few shows, Jason, have been about a plane that he was bought with directly from terroristic organizations. Like,
his kids are running around getting deals done with foreign governments, and those two are absolute dopes. Anyone that would give those guys millions and millions of dollars,
I get that.
It's all about him. It's all about currying favor with the president of the United States because he is corrupt, and you could do it. They didn't do this shit when Joe Biden was president. They didn't do this shit when,
they weren't in
George
power
W.
when he was president.
Bush.
But they weren't in power when those people were president.
No, those other governments were. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the governments would never do anything
That's what I'm
like
saying,
that because
like,
they're normal people. We're not talking about politics.
Yeah, no one ever tried to do that to them.
Jason,
because
this is
knew.
never about... The next 2 years of the Occupy Democrats show is not about politics. I'm sorry. It's not.
It's about character.
It's about character. It's about people. It's about the way they're treating each other. It's who they are and if they have credit and merit and background. That's what the next few years of this Trump administration is really about. Because guess what? We didn't spend 4 years on a Fox News station talking about Joe Biden's character and issues with his presidency.
Never came up.
By the way, we didn't spend 4 years on our Fox News station or any other station talking about Donald Trump in the first term that he had and all of the crazy that's going on now. That wasn't happening then either. So this is not some attack or jolted move because of political bias. No political bias.
No. It's character bias.
This is a character issue.
We have a bias against people who suck.
Stupid. People who are stupid.
He sucks. All right.
More importantly, Jason, people who are clumsy
and
unnecessary with everything they do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Occupy Democrats show.
Thank you.
You know who David Hogg is, right,
I do.
Jason?
I do know who David is.
Well, the Democratic National Committee panel voted to void David Hogg's election as vice chair, citing procedural issues and a violation of gender parity rules following a challenge by losing candidate Kaylin Free. If upheld by the full DNC, both Hogg and fellow vice chair Malcolm Kenyatta must run again. While the committee framed the decision as procedural, Hogg argued that it was politically motivated due to his reform efforts within the party. Hogg, a Parkland shooting survivor and activist, recently launched Leaders We Deserve, a PAC backing his young challengers against Democratic incumbents. His criticisms of parity, complacency, and his push for generalization change have drawn a lot of backlash, Jason. The DNC chair, Ken Martin, emphasized neutrality, but Hogg pointed out that the party leadership often intervenes in primaries against progressives. Hogg called the party asleep at the wheel as Trump escalates authoritarianism in full effect and behavior, and public trust in Democrats starts to falter. So let's talk about this. All right. Where are you at, first off, on David Hogg? He's a shooting survivor of the Parkland shooting.
He's strong when he's on shows. I've seen him on
he's
talk
a
shows.
very good.
He's smart. He's quick-witted.
Yep.
He doesn't get caught by any gotcha question. He's usually pretty well informed and ready for anything.
Yep.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, we need people who can get it done.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily need any more 75-year-old leaders.
And that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I brought this up was specifically for the fact that Miss Dingle, right?
Yes, yeah.
Debbie Dingle.
Falling asleep.
Fell
Well,
asleep in the middle of her things. We got Donald Trump on stage in Saudi Arabia yesterday.
He's
falling asleep. We saw him at the funeral, falling asleep for
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter. Like, guys, we've had Pelosi, all these different. The age thing is an issue
It's a real thing.
for the Democrats. You have to get away from the older, and not saying that old people are bad. We're not saying that at all. We know a lot of people out there are of the age 60 and older. They are fans of Occupy Democrats. We're not saying that we need to get rid of you at all. And we're not saying that you shouldn't have leadership that backs you and helps you. But there are people out there, Jason, that we could get younger individuals for those positions.
Yes.
And on top of it, when a guy like David Hogg comes around, he didn't ask to be shot at Parkland.
He did not.
He's got attacked by Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is what really led him to the viralness that he kind of made him who he is. And then from there, he has been a very stalwart and good leader and effective individual within the Democratic process for the Democrats. Like, he has been a good person. But he also understands something me and Jason understand. Something that Occupy Democrats understand. Something that we've been talking about for a while. There needs to be a shift. The shift needs to be a little bit younger. It needs to be a little bit more focused. And we can't be afraid to punch people back in the face.
No.
Now, if we're sleeping at the wheel or otherwise, we can't fight. We can't be fighting, right? We can't be, if I'm asleep,
Well, you know,
I can't be fighting anyone, Jason.
if they want a blue wave in 26, it is not going to be done by 75-year-old people.
No.
It's going to be done by young people. The
And by the
young
way-
people of this country are going to be who gets rid of
Over
Republicans.
50% of young people under the age of 30 pay attention to politics.
Yes.
We talked about it on the last show. That's important. David Hogg serves an important position for the Democrats. I do feel that they are attacking him for the wrong reasons. I understand if it's procedural and you can prove the procedural aspect, that's fine.
Yeah.
So be it. But he's not wrong.
Not at all.
This is coming right after he got elected to the chair position and you immediately are trying to take him out of the chair position. What is the reasoning? Well, it's either something he physically did, like rape or something bad that no one knows about behind the scenes, or it's something that he's physically doing in front of them on their behalf that they do not like. And that is where we're at right now, Jason.
It's threatening safe Democratic seats. That's what he's doing. He's telling them, listen, you're in a safe district. You're probably going to win. But if you're going to be pointless and not do anything for us, I'm going to primary you with someone else who can win.
And Kenyatta is in the same mindset. This is why I don't understand any of this. Stop attacking David Hogg on this. Let him be your chair. Let him be your vice chair. Let them do their things, guys. And if those individuals get primaried, that's the problem. I understand there are certain people he doesn't like. That's politics. Welcome back to politics, liberals. Hey, Donald Trump, all of you out there that want to take liberals and put them in CCOT and all this other stuff because you don't understand. There's two sides to every discussion. So when Donald Trump's trying to get elected president, there is a Kamala Harris there, the other side, or an opponent, someone who's not them, not your side. It's okay. You don't have to be on their side. You just don't have to.
No.
It's not necessary. You can just let them do their jobs properly, step back and be fine with it.
If it truly was a procedural issue and that's why they needed to void out the election, if they redo it and he runs again and he wins, then it's time to move forward.
Yep.
He won a second time. There weren't any procedural issues.
That's right.
It's time to move forward. Either get in the effing car or go home.
Get in,
Because
bro. We're driving to where with
Yes.
Trump with the gun hanging out the side. Yeah.
Get
in, bro.
The stakes are too high.
The stakes are way too
We
high.
have so many ill-equipped people in positions of power right now. People who are unqualified.
I'm just going down here right now to
we-
put my vote in because of politics. It's all about politics in Coldwater Creek. No, it's not about politics. We just explained that a little earlier. It's not about politics anymore.
Yeah, we have
it's beyond politics at this point.
We have a sycophant for Attorney General. We have an unscientific man as Health and Human Services Secretary. We have the most unqualified Defense Secretary in maybe in the world history. Whatever other countries call their Defense Secretary, they're not even half as bad.
Jason,
as this
can
one.
I throw something up real quick?
Yeah.
Could you throw up that picture of my friend Pam Bondi? Because our friend Jason just brought up Pam Bondi. And according to the New York Times, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has taken a largely symbolic role with key decisions at the Department of Justice being directed from the White House. Stephen Miller, alongside former Trump defense attorneys Todd Blanche and Emil Bove, are reported to control DOJ operations currently, sidelining Bondi's authority. While she was once seen as a tough Florida prosecutor, Bondi is now viewed as a performative figure who aligns closely with Trump's agenda and frequently appears on Fox News to support his messaging.
Yep.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi, Jason, is not doing her job as Attorney General. She is now becoming basically a face.
Right. You know what? Goodbye, co-equal branches of government. That's over. That's over. If Stephen Miller is running things out of the White House with Todd Blanche, who I think was it the hush money case? Or which one was he? He was the attorney for one of those.
I think it was the hush
Was
money
it?
case.
Yeah, he
actually,
lost that, so that's
we could
awesome.
be wrong, but we'll double check.
Criminals
on that.
rejoice that some idiot is now in charge of our.
We could make mistakes. We might be wrong.
Well, I know he
sometimes.
was one of Trump's attorneys. I just don't know which
No,
which
that's
case
okay.
because Trump had so
But
many
Bondi-
cases because he's a massive criminal.
But Bondi, in this situation right now, Jason, I've got Bondi running around as Attorney General doing Attorney General things. And the problem is if you're in a performative role, fine. We can all tell. We can all see this. We can all figure this out.
Yeah.
But what about when you decide behind the scenes, I don't want to be performative right now. I want to be legitimate. And I just want to use my sycophant mentality, like you were talking about, to run something bad on behalf of Stephen Miller and Donald Trump up the flagpole on purpose to create problems.
Power struggle.
That's where we're having the issue, Jay. That's where all of this falls apart.
Well, they've shown they're not above going after each other. So, I mean, you have Peter Navarro and Elon Musk.
Yep.
You have Elon Musk and what's the guy?
Peter Thiel?
No, the other one with the terrible face who got
does what? What does the guy do?
Pardoned. He got pardoned for the
Paul
stealing
Manafort,
money. For,
Roger Stone? They all got man. Did you?
I don't know why his name's. I've
Mossad
removed these
bin
people.
Salah? like which
No,
person?
Steve Bannon.
Which
Steve
person
Bannon.
did he salute,
No.
shake the hand of, give millions of dollars for, come back from, and then pardon also
Yeah.
that looks ugly and acts like
was,
an a-hole? Name one.
Steve Bannon,
Oh,
who got pardoned because he stole funds for a 9/11 memorial.
Steve Bannon, that's
Another
the one.
piece of
You remember
trash.
Steve Bannon, everybody, right? Steve Bannon,
Old
that's the
syphilis
guy.
face.
You remember Steve Bannon. He's the guy that's old and ugly
got
and
sores
does
all over his
everything that
face.
Trump tells him,
Yeah.
tells Trump that everything he does is great. And then he tried to be a sycophant and push a bunch of things through Project 2025 behind the scenes.
Yep.
Guys, I'm not seeing a lot of difference here.
No,
I'm sorry. Like,
you
this is
replace
just more
one with
of,
another.
And if every show I come on to Occupy Democrats is just going to be today Trump was mean, and today Trump worked with the terrorists, and today he quid pro quo, and today this person shouldn't be in their job, and tomorrow that person shouldn't be in their
Right.
job. And Jason just brought up 30 things this person said, and Mark brought up 40 things that person said, and they all lead to the same exact conclusion, which is these individuals shouldn't be there. The only conclusion at that point, Jason, is everybody in America that voted for Donald Trump was wrong.
Yeah. Or hoodwinked. Mostly wrong, but
Just wrong. They were wrong, Jay.
unfortunately, they're going to find out they were wrong, and it's going to be at their own detriment.
Now, before we get out of here on this show, might I throw up the idea that I found out a little piece of information right before the show started, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
They've renegotiated the China tariff deals. So the idea of China battling the United States at 145% tariff and 125% tariff back and forth, and it's going to make everything from China cost extra money, that's over. Now, those weeks did exist. They did impact the stock market. You did lose all that money on your 401k. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessary, as we discussed. But do you know where they settled on everything? 30%. Do you know where we were with Biden?
Like a 0.
20.
Well, some things, but
Nope.
we didn't have a
with
blanket
China,
tariff.
We had a 20% tariff, which was their base default of where they had their things. Now, that's a 10% rise, guys. That is not crash stock markets. That is not ruin Jason's 401k. That is not any of that when it comes to making a deal. The art of the deal. That is a simple phone call behind the scenes privately between two leaders of nations. And by the way, those leaders aren't going to be the ones who really talk most of it out. It's going to be done by the Marco Rubios and these side players that handle all the direct stuff when it comes to these different countries. So, you guys, all of that was unnecessary, and you're back to at 30%. Now, that doesn't sound horrible. It does sound more than what we were paying, fine. That doesn't sound like we're going to be paying twice the prices for everything.
Well, not yet.
But
We got 90 days.
more importantly, Jason, the one thing that it is not is it's not cheaper.
That's
No,
true.
it's not. It's more.
Yeah.
Do you see? Once again, Donald Trump, day one, cheaper this, cheaper that. I'm going to do it all. Did none of it. And your tariffs went up. You're paying more for these things from other countries. And it wasn't just because they mentioned tariffs and we talked about it for weeks and then the stock market crashed. No. The new tariff that is in place now, 30%, that's more than where it was at. So once again, you're paying more. Donald Trump is really good at making you guys pay more. That's what he's good at.
He's going to tell you it's cheaper.
Making you pay more.
He's going to tell you it's cheaper. And
He will.
he'll believe it.
He'll pee on you.
Yeah.
He'll tell you it's raining.
Can you believe it's raining so much? All
He'll do
over
that.
your right leg.
All right, Jason, before we get out of here on this show, how much time do I got left?
All the time.
Does it tell me? A couple minutes? Okay, perfect. Summer is just around the corner, Jay.
Yeah.
Which means you may be hoping to have some time for your favorite hobbies, sir.
Okay.
Do you have hobbies?
Yeah.
You have anything?
Yeah, just a few here and there.
What's your biggest hobby? What would you say is your biggest hobby that you do?
Music. Collecting music.
Music is your
listening
biggest
music.
hobby?
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
do within music that is the hobby aspect?
Purchase vinyl.
So you're a collector of
guitars,
musical stuff is what you are.
musical equipment, yeah.
So if I got you a bottle of whiskey that looks like a guitar,
That'd be great.
you think that would be awesome? That'd be a great gift,
Yeah,
right?
of course it would.
Okay, good. Well, there's a new list of online hobbies that are instant red flags, Jay.
Uh-oh.
Yours didn't sound like an instant red flag.
I
Or
hope
drinking with me from a guitar bottle. I don't think that's an instant red flag.
that
sounds
shouldn't
fun.
be, right?
So here are some of these, ladies and gentlemen. I want to throw them out there before we get out here on the show. Beauty pageants, particularly children ones.
Well, yeah.
Big red flag.
Wait, like doing it with your kids or attending them without children?
No. Like the moms who do the beauty
Okay,
pageant,
yeah.
like
Like the
Jean-Benet Ramsey's mom and
Like
dad.
the toddlers and tiaras type thing.
Yes, like Jean-Benet's murderous parents. Yes,
Yes,
like
that's
the
what-
ones who will kill you
Well, I don't know. They killed her.
within your life. Yes. Anything that is multi-level marketing work.
Yeah.
Anything that's multi-level marketing work.
Right.
That is where it's at, guys. That is no.
No,
You can't do
see
that.
ya.
Okay. People who are into pranking others all the time.
That's so annoying.
It really is. And
Don't-
by the way,
I-
that's for Gen Z, Gen A, Gen
That-
Z, all of you guys out there.
That TikTok stuff of the people going to stores and doing
Well,
it just
I've got a 13-year-old at home. He likes to see videos like this, and sometimes he thinks, maybe I'll get one over on mom or dad. And we watched famously as Bam Margera purposely just destroyed his mom and dad's house
kill his
and their
parents.
lives with their uncle,
Yeah.
Don or Vito or whatever it was. And we watched him beat them up at 2 o'clock in the morning and everything was like horrible. But yeah, that's an instant
Well, your
red flag.
son's 13. He gets a pass on that.
Somebody
13-year-olds can like that.
Someone who's into scratch lotto tickets, but they never scratched the lotto ticket. They just do the
just
code.
the barcode. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
see
is
those.
annoying. And those people, that is a definite red flag. You're wasting money.
I've seen a guy
You just
do that.
waste.
A guy at the he scratch it and then underneath the scanner you can check your tickets. He's just doing it one at a time.
Now, what about people who do CrossFit? Where do we stand on them? I'm not into exercising, being the best at exercising in the world. That's what CrossFit is to me. I'm the best at exercising.
Well, it's like exercising, but not with regular like equipment. It's like tires and big chains.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah,
you know,
it's weird.
Like there's a machine right here. Why are we carrying this
Why
rope?
are we carrying this tire in the middle of the... By the way, in the parking lot in front of this place that only has like 6 parking spaces.
Yeah.
Like there's no room for any of this. Collecting taxidermy animals. Someone who does taxidermy. Yeah, it is kind of an odd thing.
Yeah.
Swooning over serial killers. People who get into like
That
true
is
crime
weird, too.
stuff and they really get into it deep. What about the people that like want to marry Charles Manson while he's in jail?
Yeah, those people
And then
are
they
odd,
do
too.
it. And then they live there with them. Like it is a part of their life for the next 10 years while they're in jail.
Yeah,
they're at home.
Come by every Thursday and say
Like
hi
that's
to my
so
hubby.
odd to me. All right. A couple more here and then we're out of here. Being super into celebrities and their lives. Sure, that's a red flag. Disney over infatuation.
That's
Can be weird.
Like you can be a fan and collect stuff, but to know everything about everything would
To
be a
be
little
a
weird.
Disney kid and a fan of a Disney stuff,
Perfectly
when you're a kid, fine. When you're 46 years old and you got to go to Disneyland 3 times a year, specifically every single year, like
If you have children. If you have children.
if
I'm
you've
fine
got
with it.
kids and they're not grown up, but if you're still doing it,
Yeah, if you're like 48 and it's
Could be
just
weird.
you.
could be weird. Finally, someone having to watch every single Hallmark movie at Christmas time. You know those
Oh, that's
people
my
that
wife.
That's a red
those.
flag, bro.
Oh, she loves those.
Your wife is a definite red flag according to this
She's
list.
a romantic red flag.
Wait, so you're willing to trump this move, bypass that red flag, and keep
It's all
the
about
wife?
the romance.
You're willing to keep
She
the
loves,
wife.
Well, yes.
So you trump this.
She likes romantic things.
You're willing to ignore the fact that they should not be giving the medical advice, and you're going to let them give the medical advice.
Well, Hallmark's not giving medical advice.
because
those
wife,
are movies about
because your
romance.
wife lays down with you and Netflix and chills.
No, she watches those, and then I can go do something for a little bit.
Oh, so this is like a break for you. Your wife doesn't know this. This is like a 2-hour break from you.
Right? I watch them sometimes, but after a while, it's the same movie over and over again.
All right. Well, guys,
Plot
it's
line
time for
anyway.
us to get out of here on this show. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark Bland. That's MarkBland. Or you can find me on TikTok or Facebook or everywhere
just
else.
my name on Facebook if you want.
And then you got this guy over here. He's Jason Call.
Yeah.
But he goes by.
Featherbangs on Twitter only.
There it is.
Yeah,
Feather
my name
Bangs.
on everything else.
Spelled feather.
Actually,
and then
my
bangs.
name is my name on my on the
You were
page.
famously given this name by who again?
Well, I didn't. I should give it to me. I took it
You
to
took it.
troll her because she was making fun of someone at the time.
Yes. Jason at one point in life thought he was an amazing troll on
Fantastic
Twitter.
for her anyway.
He did stuff. And he's now named Featherbangs forever. So
Okay,
it's okay.
fine with me.
Red flag. Oh, could be a red flag.
Nope.
Got to watch it. Not a red flag. All right. Also, follow us, Occupy Democrats, on all of the social media handles. It doesn't matter. That's going to do it for us. We will see you guys next time.
Oh wait,
Oh, what do you
I
got?
have one more thing.
One more
Another
thing?
graduation.
Wait.
My
So wait,
son's girlfriend.
Wait. Before we go any further.
Yes,
Now, we had the graduation of the niece the other day.
that was my cousin.
Cousin.
That was high school graduation. This is
High
a
school
college
graduation.
one.
This is a college graduation.
Yeah, in Iowa they got out a little earlier than us.
Now, would this person be better at giving medical advice?
No, hers is an art degree. She is
She'd
a
be good
very
at art.
artist. She's going to be an art teacher.
So she's graduating.
She is graduating college, and her name is Katrina. She is my son's girlfriend, and congratulations to her. It's well deserved.
Katrina,
Yes.
congratulations. Good luck with your future.
Yeah.
We look forward to, you know what?
Mm,
These kids, they're getting old, bro.
right.
They're going to be married soon.
Right.
You're going to be a dad,
Well, I am
like
dead.
a granddad.
Oh no, not yet. Not
like
yet,
a
not
granddad.
yet.
Like, you're
They got
getting
plenty more to
I'm
do
not saying
before
that they're doing
happens.
that. I'm just saying, like, you're on your way. Like,
Yeah, they've got some stuff to do before that happens.
Graduating college, next move,
Right?
marriage,
That
moving
is the
in,
next
all these-
move.
Oh, there it is. All right, Occupy Democrats. Follow us on all of our social media handles. We'll see you guys next time on the show.